Hello and welcome to Norwood Community Media's Summer Show Special. We're down here on the Common, and it's a big show because we have Jerry Slater's Your Town at Work and Mark Hoover's Sports Extra and yours truly, Norwood Digest. So we're going to kick it off with someone who is no stranger to the people of Norwood, former town general manager, John Carroll. How are you, John?
I am doing okay for an old man.
You're as young as you feel, John, and you always came across as feeling quite young. So
thank you.
So we're doing something way different. If people remember the last interview I did with John before he retired, we talked about, hey, what's next for you, John? And he said, I think I might write a book. And lo and behold, we have a book, and it's called What Did Ted Have? Written by John J. Carroll. So you thought about doing it. What made you do it?
I was always a pretty good writer, even in high school, and I always liked to write. And one day I was thinking about a time that my father and I was about 12 years old. We used to go to Fenway Park. We lived in Hyde Park Avenue in Hyde Park, and we used to take the trolley over to the Art Museum, walk across the fens,
Yep.
and go to Sunday afternoon games. There were no night games. One day, after a game, we left the ballpark. There weren't many people there in those days. Even on Sundays, there were maybe 5,000 people if you were lucky. And a guy came toward us. We had a program on our hands. And he said, "What did Ted have?" to my father. And my father, without stopping, said 2 for 5 or 1 for 4. And kept going. And I said to myself, that's amazing. It was a little boy. And I said, two guys never saw each other before, will never see each other again. One asks a question about a third person by his first name, and it instantly opened up a whole world for both of them.
Yeah.
So that question always was in my mind. And one day, after I retired, maybe before I retired, I said, what would happen if right after that question was answered, the old man in the book, i.e. my father, was shot dead? And I didn't like the idea of my father being shot dead, so it had to be somebody else.
Right.
That's how the idea came about.
And I
finally sat down and wrote it.
I should have said earlier that it's a novel. It's like when you told me you wanted to write a book, I thought it would be, self-autobiographical or something about, all the things that you've done and seen. But you surprised me coming out with a novel. So
yeah, this is, as you know, you said you read it.
Yeah.
It's got really very little to do with baseball, even though the picture on the back, on the cover, is Ted Williams.
What?
It's really a love story that takes place before, during, and after World War II.
Right. So without giving too much away, it ends up really focusing on 3 people, right? Who are in the Army. One's the sergeant and 2 recruits. So just tell a little bit about that without giving too much away.
Well, the story, the reader knows pretty quickly about what did Ted have, and in the book, instead of me, it's the prime character in the book, whose name is Bobby Mohegan from South Boston. They call him Bobby Mo. He's walking away from Fenway Park with his uncle and his father, and a guy comes toward him and says, what did Ted have? And his father answers one thing and his uncle answers another, and the two of them begin to argue. And the boy was irritated because his uncle and father are arguing right in the middle of the street. He runs back and grabs the scorecard that he threw away right out of the wastebasket, and just as he's about to tell what Ted had, as he looked at it, he hears a shot, and he runs back and he finds that his father has been shot dead. Now that's the beginning of the book. It starts off that way, and then the whole book is about the guy who shot him and finding him and the relationship between Bobby Mohegan and the killer.
And so, other than the original, you and your father walking back from a game, are the characters based on people you knew, or?
None. I don't think so, no. There's a character in the book that a number of people have pointed out to me. He's a very prominent character in the book, is named Manny Lopes.
Right.
And there's a wonderful guy in Norway that I know, and many people know for his interest in soccer, Manny Lopes. And I honestly did not name the character after him. It's just a coincidence, but anyway, no, there's nobody in the book that I can tie back to people in this life.
And so now, do you have the fever, or do you want to do another one?
I do. I have an idea for a book. My storyline or plot isn't fully developed, but it's going to be called Bonura's Bat, B-O-N-U-R-A, and this is about a lot about baseball. It's about 5 or 6 boys who meet just after World War II, and they are interested in baseball, but it's about all of them growing up and how they grow up and what happens to them, and it's about using a bat that Zeke Bonura, who's a real person, played 10 years in the big leagues, broke, and these boys ended up with a bat.
Oh, that's cool.
That's it.
So if I want to, I already have mine copy, but I got mine on Amazon, so it's totally available at Amazon. Where else can they get it? I
think recently the publisher sent me a press release that was going to go out to 1,000 bookstores in the country. So I assume it's in bookstores locally. Okay. I know it's going to go.
Now, have you done a book?
But you can buy it on Amazon.
Yeah. You should have a book signing party.
Haven't had one yet.
Well, let's have one down here.
Huh?
Let's have one here.
Yeah, but
not tonight. I mean, we'd have to get ready for it.
Oh yeah, I'd have to buy a few books before the book signing.
So I think we should do that. It's published by Newman Springs.
Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting story, if you don't mind me
telling
you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had no idea how to get a book published after I finished the manuscript. I had a lady helping me, by the way. Her name is Christy Daniels, lives in my neighborhood in Milton. And she's a wonderful mother, single mother of 4 kids. And I'm a really lousy typist. And she just did the whole thing for me. But when I get the manuscript done, I didn't know what to do. And I floundered around, and some or other come up with, what's the name of the publisher?
Newman Springs.
Newman Springs Publishing in Red Bank, New Jersey. And I called them and I said, look, here's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to send my manuscript in, have it reach a real person, and have that person call me back and talk to me. And the lady said, we'll do that. And the person who called me back, believe it or not, was named James Carroll. 2 R's and 2 L's. And he said, you send your manuscript in and we'll let you know. We have a team. We'll let you know within 5 to 7 days whether we're going to take it on. And they did.
Wow.
Within a week, they called me and says, we're going to take it on. And that was a long saga after that, of course.
But, here it is. It's in the flesh. I mean, not a lot of people can say, they wrote a book and it's published. A lot of people self-publish.
I think people who have read it like it. It's not going to win a Pulitzer Prize. I'll tell you right now, there are no F-bombs in it, but there's some good stuff. There's a lot of love stuff in it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate
and there was a couple of, surprises along the way. That's why I don't want to give too much up.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it thoroughly. I read it on the beach.
Yeah.
So
Michelle Peachy told me she read it on the beach too.
Yeah. So let's just, for a second, how you doing? How are you feeling? You've been gone for what, 2 years now?
3.
3.
Jesus,
in
time flies. December. And I miss working horribly. I loved working. I loved I'm on the board of directors of Norwood Hospital, and that's become a major problem with the hospital being closed down. And as you know, I'm on the board of directors. I'm vice chairman of the board of MWRA. So those 2 things keep me busy.
Yeah, good. Good.
I enjoy doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and and you're good at it too. So,
I try to be.
Well, you know, they always say you're good at what you like and you like what you're good at, right?
That's right.
So, but hey, thank you for coming by. And when you write your next book, let's do this again.
All right.
But in the meantime,
I got to write it first.
yeah. But let's have a book signing party here. So,
I'm glad to say hello to all the people in Norwood.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us. And now we're going to go see Jerry Slater with Segal Reese as part of Your Town at Work.